it's Linda with No Frills ASMR. So I've been out driving a lot. Some of you who watch my channel know I take road trips fairly often. And with great excitement, I have noticed something along the roadways that also my parents in Tennessee live kind of out in nature a little bit. And I've just been seeing more and more bald eagles just flying around. And I think that's pretty exciting because I can remember as a kid in the 1970s, probably 70s, maybe 80s too, going on canoe trips with my church youth group at the time. And we used to go in Michigan on the Ausable River. And it was really cool. You'd drive up and they'd drop you off. I think this is right. And then you'd canoe down the river and stop halfway and camp and then canoe the rest of the way. And then you'd meet them like at the end point. It was really fun. Anyway, but I remember doing that and we were always looking for this pair of bald eagles that were supposedly in this area when you came out of the river into the lake kind of area towards the end. And I think one time we saw one of them, but otherwise you never saw them. And it was a really sad story, especially to me because I was such an animal lover, that the bald eagles were going extinct. And they were getting very close to extinction in the lower 48. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit because it's actually a very exciting story of recovery for the bald eagles. So I pulled this off from this piece. It's like pottery, and it's from probably the 1950s. And it hangs above my door in my house because I have a 1950s house and I have a lot of, things like this around. And this eagle has in his claw, he's really cool because he's got this cool, like Captain America type shield and an arrow. So he's ready to get him. So that's kind of cool. But in reality, if you look at our, U.S. $1 bill, the eagle is our country's, emblem, symbol? Oh, my kitty cat's meowing, sorry. And this one, the official one, has a flag that is kind of just on his chest. It doesn't seem to be being held by anything. He doesn't have it in his claw like this guy. It's just on his chest. And apparently that is to symbolize that nobody's holding the United States up. It is held by itself. And then the eagle is holding 13 arrows in this claw and and an olive branch in this claw. And he looks towards the olive branch, which symbolizes that the U.S. is always looking for peace, but they're prepared for war. And that's why he has the arrows. And then there are all these stars up here. That's 13 stars to symbolize the 13 original colonies. And I think he has 13 arrows for that reason too. So anyway, this eagle should really probably have his crest here, and he should be holding an olive branch, but I think for the sake of looking cool, they made him like this. But really, when I look at him, he almost looks more like a dove than a bald eagle, doesn't he? All of a sudden. Anyway, so that's kind of cool. But the bald eagle had, like I said, had pretty much, I want to open this book up without hitting the camera. Okay, this book is incredible. I don't want to, I'd love to flip through it with you, but I feel like I might get in trouble for doing that, I do want to show you one photo because it's just so awesome. Hold on, let me find it. I gotta get to where the raptors are. Yeah, this book, it's all photos of birds, and they're honestly like the most amazing photos. Look at that picture of a bald eagle. Oh, it's so cool. Hold on. Let me move these over here real quick. I'm going to tell you a story about a bald eagle. So I just had to show this picture because what the heck, man? How cool is that? I mean, he's just incredible. Look at that. It's no wonder they looked at him and said, that's got to be a symbol of our country. He almost looks like, you know how, oh my gosh, remember on the Muppets, they had an eagle who would always talk. Anyway, he was funny. So the story, though, about the bald eagle. Back in the, I think it was the late 60s. Well, okay, let's go back even further. During World War II, in order to protect the men from tick and flea and mosquito-borne illnesses like, malaria and bubonic plague, and I don't know what, that might not be one of them. That's rats, isn't it? Anyway, but to protect them from, diseases, they tried to find a insecticide kind of thing that they could use that would really keep all the diseased insects away from them. And what they came up with was DDT. Well, DDT works really well for killing insects. So after the war, they were like, we need a use for this DDT. So they started selling it to farmers to use on their land to protect their crops from, insects. And of course it worked well, but it also washed off the land into the little streams and rivers and the water table and got into the waterways and got into the algae and the greenery and just in the water. And the fish ended up becoming, their meat would be just, full of DDT. And eagles are carnivores. They're raptors. There's another name for when a bird only eats meat, but I can't think of it. But anyway, and so the eagles a lot of times live near waterways, and they would eat the fish. And it wouldn't necessarily kill the eagle right away, but the eagles, when they lay their eggs, the eggshells wouldn't be hard. The eggshells became very soft. So when an eagle would go to sit on its nest, it would just crush the eggshells. And if they even made it to the stage of being a baby bird, they were just too poisoned. And that is a lot of the reason that eagles almost went extinct. Now, also, there were people hunting eagles back then because they thought that they were bad for their farmland, even though they tend to not go after farm animals. But anyway, but the DDT almost killed them off. So then people started to realize, like, this is the national symbol of our country. By the way, this is the book. It's called Birds by Tim Flock. That's funny. His name's Flock. But it's really cool. There's some super cool pictures in here. I recommend. I checked it out of the library. Anyway, so in, I think it was around the early 70s, they started to realize how dangerous DDT was to wildlife, but also they started to realize it might be bad for humans, and human births were having issues, you know what I'm saying? And so I guess that was really 1967. I did take a note. 1967 is when the EPA banned DDT. And apparently that was super like controversial at the time because they had never like banned a chemical like that. And some farmers were like, hey, we can't, protect our crops. And really, it's probably more big businesses pushing that. But they did end up banning it because they realized the dangers. And then a few years later in the 70s, some reports started coming out about humans having, issues with their pregnancies because of DDT. So, that was a problem. But anyway, in 1973, the government passed the Endangered Species Act, and it listed the they also passed an act, like, I forget what it's called. Anyway, it's the Bald Eagle and Golden Eagle, like, Protection Act. And so between stopping using DDT and protecting them from hunting, and then just a lot of volunteers started working to help with their habitat, and even, like, all the way to today, they have protected habitats for their nesting. So they've made this giant comeback, and like I said, now you can see them on the sides of roads and stuff. It's really exciting. And part of what got me thinking about it, I was planning this trip to Alaska, and I was reading up a little bit about it. And a lot of people are excited about going there to see bald eagles, which I am too. But I see them around here now. So, oh look, oh my, you guys, I opened right to it. How about them apples? Let's see what they say here. In mid-November, 3,000 to 4,000 bald eagles gather along a 10-mile stretch of Alaska's Chilkat River to feed on spawning salmon. Oh, that's where I was going with that. I've heard that in Alaska, they're almost like pigeons. There's so many. I don't know. I will report back after I go there. But that would be cool. Once threatened to extinction in the lower 48 states, our national bird has been making a slow comeback thanks to conservation efforts. Look for a large dark brown eagle with a snow white head and a hooked yellow bill. Juveniles are all brown. And they show you their habitat: wetlands, lakes, rivers, coastlines. They make a harsh cackle. I mean, look at that bird. It's beautiful. So anyway, it's kind of a story of, where people coming together and kind of giving the government some pressure to really care for, an animal like that. And at the waterways, I mean, all humankind, really. It really worked. And I just think it's like so cool and so important that we saved our eagle. Can you imagine if we had this as our symbol and we just made it go extinct? That would be embarrassing. Anyway, that's all. Just a quick story about eagles. I don't think I have any other books to look anything up in, so I hope you enjoyed that.